What is up, people? Welcome back to the channel from me and Millie. Look at that, the gaze of a lion. Yeah? She's just had a bit of ice cream. Right, so Metro Man. We are coming back together now. Stuff is going back in. So this is the carpet version of what the GTI normally has. The GTI normally has like these foam ones and the foam over the boot floor. Don't know why, so I've gone for the carpet version. Better. So this is all back in now. I've got to pot rivet those in, but I'm looking for some black pot rivets because I was black originally. I've only got silver, so I'm going to get some black pot rivets just to make it look that a little bit better. Hang on, someone's at my front door. Let's go have a look at that. Back. So a lot of this now is in. So we're moving on to blowing up the rear suspension. So I lent this friend, and it didn't work. And I'll show you why. Because the cylinder's been left pushed in. So I've got it soaking. It is starting to free up. Yeah, but it's done. So rent another one. This one has got the vacuum on it. Now we are holding a small amount of vacuum. See, now we've come off the needle. Just like a little gap there now. So it's holding pressure, but I don't know how much we've got to go. So what I'm thinking about doing is jacking it up, putting the axle stands under the hubs to lift this, to put some load on the rear setup. So that's what I'm going to do now. I've just put my rubber cover on there. So I'm going to jack this up, move the stands under the hubs. Try again. This is like a first for me. So I just used to pay to have mine lifted up. But to be honest, we only lifted it up for MOTs. And then we let it straight back fucking down again. Because that's how we were back in the day. Alright, it's all about looking good back then. Get a car park, let it all out. You gotta remember when I was driving these things round in the 90s, they weren't old. You know what I mean? Now, get a little bit older. I'll open this jack. I should. Abracadabra. So remove the stands, close my door. I'm just going to put the stands directly under the hub itself. Don't go anywhere. I've done it many a time. You've just got to keep an eye on them when you're letting them down. Give them a little knock. And that noise is my jack, by the way. It's many years old now. So I want to stop this before it gets to the bump stops. Right, so that just off the bump stops. So now, let's see if we get any different reading. Plenty of fluid in here. That is on. Can hear fluid moving. Here. it's starting to feel different, people. It hasn't gone up anymore though, but you can definitely feel some pull on it. I suppose first of all, he's just got to remove all the air, hasn't he? Which could take a while. If I undo that now, that should leave the air in the canister. Then if I depressurise, fucking hell, it's got some pull on that now. You have to undo that. Let's drop the vacuum off. Tighten that back. No, so I'll leave that loose. Then move this little knob. I had to unseize this earlier as well because I don't think this one's been used for a while. Come over. There you go. Up into that and then into pressurise. We should get fluid moving. So let's. I want to get the air out. And then I'll lock that valve on. Lock that valve now. Undo that. Screw that one back in. I am wildly guessing at this, people. Anyone sees anything going wrong? You are really just watching me. Right, so what I've done is I've pumped that for a while. Then, whilst it was holding vacuum, under here, look. There's a valve here. Shredder valve, or whatever they're called, and then valve here. So what I've done with that then, once it was under vacuum, I undid that one, which isolated the canister. Then undid this one, which released the vacuum. Swapped this from vacuum to pressure. Pumped it up until I had a bit of fluid come out of there with no air in it. Locked that back up, screwed that back in. Now, I've just got to pump it and get it up to a desired pressure. Then, I'm going to depressurise it again, back into the tank, and then refill it. It's a bit of a finagle, but a few people have said you've got to do it a few times. So we're ready for pressure now. It's 100. $200. So that's 200 in there now. Check how much fluid I've got in there. Let's just fill that up. Right. So that's at 200 and holding firm. Now, do I go to 300, then do the other side, let this settle, then come back and depressurise it? And we'll just do it now. I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to pump this up to 300 and then do the other side. So we're at 300. Yeah? So now if I lock that off, if I undo that, that should take the thing off, and then I should be able to moving that over. Put the cap over the hole. I don't know what's going to happen. It might blow the shit over me. Fucking ass tight. So now that should. Yeah, that's depressurised now. So if I undo this one. Yeah, no pressure in there. That's a bit dodgy, that is, I have no idea what it's going to do. Fucking 300 psi in it. So now, I'm going to go over to the other one. You've got to get it so I can actually move the car. So I need to finish that of the chassis. Like, soon. So it's hard to see. I don't know if we're even going to see, but in the line you can see it being pulled. You're not going to see. You can probably just see shadows moving across the line. But there is actually fluid coming out, back out the system. So it is pulling all of whatever's in there out. Oh, I can't do this. Right. So this one now, I've done it 3 times. Took it up to 400 and dropped pressure out of it, and you can hear air coming back out of the system. So the last time I did it, I didn't hear, you can hear it like popping. I didn't hear any popping. I think this side is pretty much done. Now I'm going to go back, drop the other side, do it again, drop it, do it again, drop it, do it again. Then, once that's done, I'm going to loosen off the anti-roll bar linkages and retighten them. So the anti-roll bar bushes are set in ride height position. Well, this is going to be rough ride height, because I have no idea. I didn't take any measurements, did I? So, yeah. That's, I think this with the vacuum, as you see, you're pulling out all the crap, is going to be so much easier than having to try and get the air out another way. The other way I thought about doing it was unbolting the side on the cage, turning the cone, so this is at the top, filling it, drop, like not filling it to max pressure, like 100 psi, drop it, 100 psi, drop it, so the air's coming out the top. So yeah, this, it's holding for 400 psi, so I think that's about where they run these, isn't it? Yeah, so now I'm going to take that off. So what you do is you lock this big straighter valve, or so you undo it. That releases the pin out the tyre valve sort of thing, and then just drop that off. And that's it. Pressure gone. So now I'll take that off, stick it back on the other side, and start again. Right, people, so my old man come round, so we just cracked on. I don't really like recording when I'm around my old man. So the back's on, and it is so much better with that extra PSI in. Look, she's up to 400 now. Well, I let loads out to let it sink down. I mean, it's a little bit raised at the minute because the front end's up in the air, but it's so much stiffer. It was squeaking its tits off at the beginning, and as it kept bouncing and bouncing and bouncing and bouncing, the squeaks went away because of all the new grease getting in everything, because we've had it all apart and cleaned. So the front, what we've done is we took this off. Look how clean she is in here. She's so clean. So we couldn't get the can off. It wouldn't separate here. No matter what I tried, it wouldn't separate. So I couldn't take any off to run the front lower. So I cut the hydroelastic hose, put the valve on, gave the body a good clean up, and put it back together. But I had some old gas adjustable shocks off the back of a Mini that fit. The only difference is the Mini is a 3/8 bolt and this is a 10mm. So we just ran a 10mm drill bit through, fitted straight on, and the gap here and the gap there are pretty much the same, and we're never going to run on the bumps. So yeah, so we've now got some adjustables on, so I don't have to run it up the pressure. I don't have to run the pressure as high, so I can get the right height I want, and just use these for the damping instead of the fluid in there for the damping. You get me? I stripped the caliper off, took the piston out of the caliper. Piston, when I took the caliper off, because I'm draining all the brake fluid out of the system, so I wanted to empty the caliper. The piston didn't push back that smooth, so I popped the piston out, cleaned it all off. The bleed nipple was completely blocked, so that could have been part reason why it was so stiff to push back. But so piston came out, polished the piston back up, cleaned all the seals, put nice blue rubber grease in there. All that is now moving free. I mean, that is free. These were fucking, the grease in there was like coagulated off a little bit. So we've got a nice bit of grease in there. I mean, it's not dirty under here, don't get me by any means. This is that, you know, that sealer, like wax oily stuff. But if this was going to be for me, I would take this front subframe out, get it clean, plainly, because the back's done. Might as well do the front. I just ain't got the time. I need to crack on with other work. So, small upgrade, more of an upgrade, brakes upgrade, well, cleaned out. We've got the new master cylinder to go on next once I've done the other side. So just sort of show you where we're at. All of these bolts came out except for one snap, so I put 2 new nuts and bolts on the top, use the originals for the bottom. Simple pimple just made a right freaking mess. The brake fluid that came out of the caliper was horrendous. Horrendous. Yeah. So I'll leave that video here, and I'm going to do another one. It's going to be here tomorrow, so we're going to get the bleed the brakes on this tomorrow. And technically, she'll be back out having some fun. Right, catch you later, people. See you in a bit. Bye. So I haven't bothered recording any of this side. ECU out, shocking, the new shocks in. So I'm stripping the pistons out of the caliper because they're really stiff. Now, all you do is just pop it out with an airline. Now, they're in quite nice condition. But you see that line? This is bad old brake fluid, right? And it breaks down and leaves deposits. Now, you can see, and you think, well, that's just a bit of like an oily residue, but you can actually feel it, and that's what catches on your seals, and that is what actually affects your brake pedal. Like on the Busa, we just flushed all the system out back in, and the brakes are so much better because your brake fluid breaks down and leaves deposits. So I'm going to clean that up because that catches on your seals that are in there. See the black seal? But you see the colour in there? That is supposed to be nice and shiny and silver. But the brake fluid was that old and that bad. Look at the state of it in there. It's horrible. So all that's going to get cleaned out. All I'm going to do with this is a Scotch-Brite, like one of these things, just to polish it up. Clean that out with brake cleaner. Get in there, nice, clean it out. Don't leave any debris in there, though, if you can get away with it. A lot of people scrap calipers when they don't need to be scrapped. You just need to pop this out. That took a lot of pressure to pop out. I mean, a lot. You should just be able to pull them. It took a lot of force. Ryan, I just thought I'd add this to the video. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. See you later, people.